Alright, this is Samantha Holmes, and I'm going to do my mission report on the planet Pluto, and maybe speak like William Shatner so it doesn't go as short as my first recording for this report goes. Okay, Pluto is the furthest planet from our sun, and if you're thinking furthest planet, we're thinking 3.667 billion miles away from the Earth, from the sun, which does add a significant amount of why it's covered in ice and why it's one of the coldest planets in our solar system as well. Pluto is also classified as a dwarf planet. There was a time when the classification of planet altogether for Pluto had disappeared because it was so small that it could be considered a moon at some point. Since then, since that little controversy, Pluto has become a dwarf planet in size. In size, diameter-wise, it's 1,473 miles in diameter, which is significantly smaller than our very own moon as well. Its moon is just as small as it is, and to put it wise to comparison to Earth, it's just as big as the U.S. is wide. So that gives you a certain illustration of how small the planet Pluto is. So you could drive around or over it in a couple days. Okay, the makeup of Pluto is just as any of the further planets is: methane, hydrogen. Um, there are traces of oxygen within its atmosphere, and the atmosphere of Pluto is an interesting one because whereas most planets have their atmosphere closer to the planet's surface than Pluto's. Pluto's atmosphere, diameter wise, is just as big as Earth's. So, to put that in consideration of how large its atmosphere is, Pluto's planetary formation is mostly of ice, methane ice, and it does have the youngest surface in comparison. One of the most interesting things about Pluto's surface is the heart-shaped rock formation within its crust. Pluto's rock formation is mostly of ice and methane, creating like a heart shape that when it was discovered. So that's one of the interesting facts for Pluto's surface, at least. Fascinating fact about Pluto is, in my opinion, the classification of Pluto as a planet. Pluto was a planet, then it was a moon, and now it is considered a dwarf planet in consideration to the scientific community and whatnot. So that's an interesting fact in my mind. Also, the atmosphere that surrounds Pluto being not as close to Pluto's surface as it was originally. Um, there's been a couple probes that have been sent out to Pluto. One of them is the New Horizons probe, which got closer than just a flyby, where we got to see the formations of the planet, and just the geological findings of it being like almost an entirely new crust surrounding it, if ice surrounding it, rather than it having like what I'm trying to say is the formation of the ice around it made it seem younger in comparison to other planets in the solar system, which I find is more interesting to me. Should we go back? I think so, just to find out more about what would classify a dwarf planet in our solar system, because there are plenty of moons around Jupiter that deserve it as well. And that is my wish report. Thank you.